Welcome to Chef Steak. I'm your host, Michael Zavlaris. Today is December 30th, 2020. One day from New Year's Eve. Wow. On a side note, it is LeBron James' birthday. Some of you may regard him as the GOAT. And it's also Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz's birthday. I know not many people may care about that, but I do. Eagle fan. Sure, he's had a down year this year, but it happens to everybody. Anyway, today I'll be bringing you all the news because Vicente can't. Christmas went pretty well for both of us. Hope it did well for you too. I actually got a pair of retro Jordan 11s, which is awesome. Anyway, let's get to our Week 16 recap on our predictions. So, last week I went 11-5, Vicente went 10-6, and Madden went 10-6. So that brings my record to 168-1. Vicente is 161-78, and Madden is 130-108. So there's that. I'm in the lead by 7, which is great. Another news. So I'd assume for most fantasy players, your championship week just wrapped up. Mine did. I lost. Oh well. Can't complain. I won last year, so I'm the runner-up man. Anyway, let's get to our Week 17. Let's get to our news. Oh, shut up now. So, this is going to be my Eagle Rant segment. So, here we go. So, the Eagles have officially been eliminated from the playoffs after losing to the Cowboys. What was it? 37-17. Let me double check on that. I don't want to remember. I mean, I'm not that upset. Yeah, 37-17. I'm not that upset. I wanted to lose. I didn't want to go to the playoffs. I'd rather have a top 10 draft pick. Jalen Hurts did struggle, to be expected. Jalen Hurts, 21 for 39, 342 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Andy Dalton went off, 22 for 30, 377 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So we got our asses cooked. The most Eagle thing you can do is bring in Deshaun Jackson for 1 play on a deep bomb, 81 yards and a touchdown. Never to see the field again in that game. Typical. So we're officially eliminated from the playoffs. I'm happy about it, actually. I want that top 10 draft pick because if we go to the playoffs, no matter which NFC East team is going to the playoffs, they're going to get cooked anyway. So I can honestly care less. So this is, we've gone to the playoffs 3 straight years, which is tied second in the NFL. It's our first time missing the playoffs since 2016, which is when we went 7-9. Doug Peterson just became our head coach, and we just drafted Carson Wentz. So, another bad thing about the Eagles, they've given up over 513 yards in back-to-back games. That's horrible. God awful. Currently, as of right now, we hold the 6th pick in the draft. We are tied for the fewest wins in the NFC. We only won 4 games. And these are the 4 quarterbacks that the Eagles have beaten. We've beaten Nick Mullins, Danny Jones, Ben DiNucci, and Taysom Hill. In case you don't know this, we beat 1 starting quarterback all year. That's it. The quarterback we're playing, I don't know his name. We're going against Washington on Sunday Night Football. He's actually the 3rd string quarterback, technically. But we only beat 1 starting quarterback this season. That's horrendous. So, we're out. And now, obviously, we're looking through a rebuild. Let me go to that. So, if I if I were like Jeffrey Lurie, or if I had control of the Eagles organization, I would lose to Washington. So that would mean Dallas won't go to the playoffs. Fuck Dallas. And we can get a higher draft pick in the draft. The best we can get is the third pick. And we would need Miami, Cincinnati. No, not Miami. We need Atlanta, Houston, and Cincinnati to win, and us to lose to get the third pick. And if we also lose to Washington, we will play against the last place teams in other divisions. Like, for instance, we're supposed to play against an AFC West, an AFC East team next year. So that would mean if we lose, we go against the Jets. I'd rather do that. I mean, the Patriots aren't that intimidating either, but I'd rather go against the Jets. So yeah, lose to Washington. So one, the Cowboys don't go to the playoffs. We get a higher draft pick, and we play against the worst teams. So that's what happened in our Super Bowl year too, because we didn't do well. 2016, we went against like the worst teams in the division basically. Also, I would keep Doug Peterson. Look, some of you may disagree with me, but he's a good coach. We just need a better play caller. Get him an offensive coordinator. Get him somebody like Jim Harbaugh. I highly doubt he's going to take an offensive coordinator job. Or get Jim Caldwell as offensive coordinator. Keep Doug Peterson around because under him, we've went to the playoffs for 3 straight years. This year was an awful year. Not going to lie to you. But he took us to the playoffs 3 straight years. I don't want to fire him. Also, I want to move. I don't want Harry Roseman as general manager. I actually prefer him. I'd want him to be moved to like a salary cap staff console. That's what one of his jobs were when he worked with the organization. Just salary cap stuff, because he is good with that stuff too. We were over the cap by over 20 million last year. We freed up a lot of space. We brought back Brandon Graham, all those people. So, no, that was 2 years ago. My bad, but still. John Dorsey is currently a consultant for the organization. I would promote him to general manager and vice president of football operations. I would also start Carson Wentz at quarterback next season. Yes, he had a bad year, but once you get him some weapons, a better offensive coordinator, somebody who can actually call plays that fit his personnel, then he'll be back to his old self, I guess. Because keep in mind, last year, the first quarterback in NFL history to throw for 4,000 yards and have receivers under 500 yards. 27 touchdowns, 7 picks, and 4,000 yards last year was not bad at all for a quarterback, especially when you had practice squad players at the end of the season. Everybody has a bad year. Carson Wentz is still my quarterback 1. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts isn't. Whoever's under center, I fully support. But I think it was the right decision on starting Jalen Hurts for the rest of the season. He is starting this Sunday too, by the way. I think it was smart starting Jalen Hurts because 1, it'll show us what he's got, and 2, it'll get Carson Wentz ready for next year. So there's that. I would, believe it or not, I'm surprised I'm saying this, but I would restructure Deshaun Jackson's contract. I want to keep him, but to a cheaper deal. Now, yes, he's only played like 5-6 games this season. He's only played like 5. He played at most 8 games since coming back last year, and he's making like $9 million a year. I don't want to pay him $9 million to sit on his couch all day. So I would restructure him to like a veteran minimum. If he doesn't want that, okay, bye, good riddance. But I would keep him because he still has that explosive speed. So I'd keep him, but if not, I'd probably get rid of him if he doesn't agree to like a restructure. Also, I would want to move on from Zach Ertz. He hasn't produced anything this year. Yes, I know he missed time, but even when he was on the field, Dallas Goedert had more touches than he did. He was more productive. Malik Jackson, I would get rid of. Either that or restructure him because he's getting like $10 million a year, not producing a lot either. And last but not least, I'd want to get rid of Alshon Jeffrey. He's injury prone too. And he's had some highlights this season, but let the kids play. Let Travis Fulgham, Greg Ward, Jalen Reagor, let those guys see the field. Don't bring back these old bums who's not going to be on the team next year. And in the draft, I want us to get Ja'Marr Chase, best receiver in the draft. If he's off the board at our pick, I would take Devontae Smith out of Alabama because he is currently a candidate for the Heisman, which is pretty solid. If somehow they're both off the board, I would take Micah Parsons. And if God forbid, if all three of them are off the board at that point, depending on what pick we have, I would trade back a little bit and get somebody like Jalen Waddle because I know he's the third. He's up there. He's definitely the top 3 receiver in the draft. But I would draft Ja'Marr Chase. We can get a linebacker in the second round. Linebackers are... This is a defensive-heavy draft this year. So I would draft... these are the positions that are my main focus. I would get receiver, number 1, linebacker, safety, cornerback, and center. Because I don't know if Jason Kelce's coming back next season. Who knows? But that's what I would do. So, yeah, the top person on my list, Ja'Marr Chase. So, that's it for my Eagles segment right there. Thank you for watching that part. Now, on to the more important stuff. So, here's a crazy stat for you. Aaron Rodgers is 69-1-1. Nice. When leading at halftime in Lambeau. That's great. Now, you're maybe wondering, who did he lose to? Believe it or not, the Eagles beat him last year. They were leading at halftime in Lambeau, and we somehow pulled magic out of our asses and beat them. So that's the one loss. That must suck. So, now, on to NFL MVP. We talked about this before, but I'm talking about it again. Who's your NFL MVP? You have Aaron Rodgers, who has 4,059 passing yards, which is 5th in the league. 44 touchdown passes, which is 1st. 5 interceptions, which is 1st for fewest for a starting quarterback. 70% completion, which is 2nd, and leads the league in passer rating with a 119.4. So there's him. Then you have Patrick Mahomes, who has 4,700 yards, which is 1st, 38 touchdown passes, which is 2nd, 6 picks, which is 2nd, 66%, which is 15th, and the 3rd highest passer rating with 108.2. Now, I also want to mention, here's a stat, Patrick Mahomes had 16 dropped interceptions this season, which is like an NFL record. 16. He got really lucky. So if you think about it, he could have had 22 picks this year. Think about it. To me, Aaron Rodgers will be I would have Aaron Rodgers as my MVP because Rodgers, he has Devontae Adams, who I think is the best receiver in the league, or very close to being the best receiver in the league. But his main weapon is Devontae Adams. Patrick Mahomes, you have Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, who are both in the top 5 for receiving yards. Like, Mahomes has a stacked offense. Rodgers, his is good, but not nearly as good as the Chiefs. So for me, Aaron Rodgers would be my MVP if the season ended today. Now, Dwayne Haskins has been released from the Washington football team. Um, Honestly, it was to be expected. This just adds to a long list of Ohio State quarterbacks who don't do well in the NFL. I believe I have the picture here somewhere. So, here are some of the star quarterbacks that the Buckeyes have had over the years. Craig Krenzel, Troy Smith, Terrell Pryor, who transitioned to a receiver and is not playing football as of right now. Braxton Miller, who was the Eagles' practice squad receiver. J.T. Barrett, Cardale Jones, who played in the XFL, and Dwayne Haskins. They didn't do shit since coming in the league. The only thing you could say is Terrell Pryor has the longest scramble for a quarterback, which is 93 yards. That's it. Everybody else, bums. Now, hopefully that streak breaks. Hopefully Justin Fields breaks that streak. I don't think he's going to be as good as Trevor Lawrence in the league, but I think he'll be decent. I think he'll do okay. But hopefully he breaks that streak, or curse, I should say, because Ohio State quarterbacks don't have any luck in the NFL. What else? So, there are currently like 10-5 teams in the AFC. Let's talk about the playoffs. Let me get that up. So, I'm going to remove some of these logos so you can see it better. So, you currently have Buffalo in the wild card. Kansas City locked up the first seed. Patrick Mahomes is not playing. Then the second seed you have Buffalo, then Pittsburgh, Tennessee, Miami, Baltimore, and Cleveland. Then in the NFC you have Green Bay, New Orleans, Seattle, Washington, Tampa Bay, the Rams, and Chicago. That's currently it right now. Now, one of these teams that I'm about to mention is going to miss the playoffs. You currently have the Titans, who are 10-5. They're leading their division and they have the 4th seed. You have the Dolphins, who are 10-5, who have the first wildcard spot, which is the 5th seed. Then you have the Ravens, who are 10-5, who have the second wildcard spot, which is the 6th seed. Then you have the Browns, who are 10-5, with the 7th seed, which is the third wildcard spot. And then you have the Colts, who are also 10-5, who are currently out of playoff contention, but are in the hunt. One of these teams are going to miss the playoffs. And to me, I think it's going to be between the Colts and the Dolphins. Personally. Because who do these teams play? So, Tennessee's playing Houston. Tennessee's going to win. I think Houston's going to lose to lock up a very good draft pick. Cleveland is playing against Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh already clinched the division. And they're going to be benching some of their players. They have not mentioned who yet. Then the Colts are playing... Who are they playing? They're playing against Jacksonville, so the Colts may win. The Dolphins are playing against... Damn, where the hell is it? Shit. Dolphins are playing against Buffalo. So, at the top of my head, I think the Dolphins may miss out on the playoffs. I don't know if Buffalo is going to be benching any of their players. I haven't heard anything yet, but it's going to be between Indy and Buffalo. Indy and Miami. But personally, from what I'm looking at, I think it's going to be Miami that's going to be getting the boot. You guys can let me know what you think. Um, Here's a crazy stat for you as well. Hold on a minute. So, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are 23-1 in their last 24 games. Holy shit. That's a lot. So figured I'd mention that. The following teams have been eliminated from contention. I'm only mentioning the important ones. I'm not going to say like Jacksonville and Jets because that's like a no shit moment. Raiders, Patriots, Chargers, Vikings, Niners, who actually upsetted the Cardinals, and the Eagles. Damn. So that's it for the NFL news. I'll be back in 4 minutes. So do whatever you want. Take a shit. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So I just saw this on my Instagram feed. The NFC will be making NFL history this season. No team has ever started 2-7 and made the playoffs. The Cowboys, the Giants, and Washington all started the year 2-7. How about that? As if 2020 couldn't get any weirder. Also, I'm not throwing shade, so I just want to show you this. Dak Prescott's last 6 starts, he was 3-3, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks, 104.7 passer rating. And Andy Dalton's last 6 starts, he was 4-2, 13 touchdowns, 4 picks, 102 passer rating. So this could just show you something right now. Dak Prescott is getting paid a shit ton of money compared to Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's only making like a couple million, where Prescott's making like 30 something. This just shows you how stacked the Cowboys are on offense. It doesn't matter who your quarterback is, they're just going to be the same. So I'm not saying Dak Prescott's horrible, but he can be overrated a little bit because Andy Dalton in his last 6 starts, they put up similar numbers. So, and one of them is making 30 while the other one's making a couple mil. I just want to let you know that because I found that interesting. Shout out to an Eagles fan page. I believe it's Eagles Galaxy for posting this. I don't want to be that person who's just stealing content. I like giving credit. So for the picks, I may just pull up the playoff predictors website because then it'll just show. Shit, hold on. It'll just show you the it'll show you what happens, who's ranked and such, and then those will be the records for the year. So I'll do that, so you don't have to see my ugly face. Oh, it's taking a while to load. Hold on. There we go. So, alright. Here we go. Damn it. Son of a bitch. So, this is the week that just passed. Some of the biggest upsets include the the Jets beating the Browns, which is sad, but also very Brown-like. The 49ers beating the Cardinals, which kind of cost me my fantasy championship. And I guess the Eagles. I don't know. You decide on that one. So let's go to next week. We do not have any Thursday night games. They're all going to be taken on Sunday. So, let's begin with Miami at Buffalo. Like I said, I think Miami is going to be the one that gets the boot. I have Buffalo winning. That actually depends. If Buffalo rests some of their starters, then I see Miami going to the playoffs. If the Bills don't, because they already clinched the division, and they don't bench their starters, then if they bench their starters, Miami's going to go in. If they don't, Buffalo. So next we have Baltimore and Cincinnati. We're going to go with the Ravens because the Bengals are going to try and keep that pick that they have. Next we have Pittsburgh and Cleveland. I'm going with Cleveland because I know for a fact they're going to be benching. I know for a fact that the Steelers are going to be benching some of their players like Cameron Hayward, Ben Roethlisberger. So the Browns are going to win this game. Next we have Minnesota at Detroit. I'm going to go with Minnesota. Where the fuck are they? Yeah, we're going to go with Minnesota. Next we have the Jets at Patriots. Now, normally, me and Vicente would say, do we have to talk about this? We do, because every time we said it, the Jets fucking won. So, I'm going to talk about it for a brief second. It's called common sense. The Jets are going to win this game. The Jets are going to lose this game. And keep that second pick. They're not going to get Trevor Lawrence, unfortunately, unless the Jags find a way to mess things up. But they're going to get Justin Fields. He's a good quarterback, but obviously you want to get somebody who's being compared to Andrew Luck. So next we have Dallas at Giants. I have Dallas winning this game. Look, these games are going to be fun to watch, I guess. But I just want the Eagles to lose. I'll get back to that. Dallas is going to win this game. Next we have Atlanta at Tampa Bay. We're going with the Buccaneers. The Falcons, they won. I'd assume they'd lose this game so they can get a better draft pick. But they almost beat the 14-1 Chiefs. They lost because of a gust of wind with the most accurate kicker who's going to his first Pro Bowler in Young Oku. But still, I'm going with the Buccaneers. Look, I just want to get this off my chest. I don't think records define teams. Take the Steelers for an example. They really aren't an 11-0 team. Because the second they started playing against actual teams, that's when they went on like a 3-game losing streak. And the Falcons are, believe it or not, I think they're a decent team. The record doesn't show it. I know they blow leads I should say, but they're not a horrible team. They have a top 5 wide receiver duo in the league. They're not that bad. I just wanted to say that. So, Tampa Bay is going to win this game. Next, we have Green Bay at Chicago. I don't know what Green Bay's doing. I don't know what they're doing for the, I don't know if they're benching players or not. But if they do, I'm going to go with Chicago. But if not, I'm going to go to the Green Bay. Did they clinch the first seed? Let me look that up. Because if they didn't, then obviously they're going to play for that. No, Green Bay has not clinched it, so we're going with Green Bay on this game. And I don't think Chicago would care either, because they're not even in the race anymore. They're actually the 8th seed. Next, we have Las Vegas at Denver. We're going with Vegas. I mean, this is a pointless game, but I had to talk about it. Next, we have Jacksonville at Indy. The Colts are going to win this game. They're currently out of contention right now, but this can help them a lot as the Jaguars want to maintain that first overall pick to get Trevor Lawrence. Because look, if they mess this up, it's going to be bad. Are they going to be dicks? Like, here's the thing. Are they going to be dicks and try and win this game so the Colts don't go to the playoffs? Or are they just going to be like, nah, we want Trevor Lawrence? You honestly never know anymore because the Jets won a couple games, but you know that's the Jets. Next, we have the Chargers at Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes is not starting, and they clinched the first seed, so I don't think that there's some of their starters may either not play or even go in for a couple of drives, but I'm gonna go with the Chargers on this one. Chiefs clinched the first seed. No sense in them playing. Next, we have Arizona at the Rams. This one... I mean, they're currently in the playoffs now. Both of them. But I think the Cardinals... Now, you know what? I wanted to pick the Cardinals, but I'm going to go with the Rams. The Rams are going to boot Arizona out of the playoffs. And what sucks is that I want to see the Cardinals in the playoffs. Next, we have Seattle at San Francisco. We're going to go with Seattle. Next, I don't know what they're... I think they clinched the division. Yeah, they did. Next, we have New Orleans at Carolina. I think New Orleans is going to win this game. I think they want to get that second seed so they can... Because, it's a bitch playing in the friggin' Superdome. Next, we have Tennessee at Houston. Houston wants to keep a pick, I guess. Actually, it's not even their pick anymore. It's the Dolphins' pick. What am I talking about? But I still think the Titans win this game regardless. Then for the last game, I think I have a bad feeling the Eagles win this game. I do not want them to win this game, but they very well could. Everybody wants to win. Like, everyone in the Eagles wants to win this game. I want to say, fuck you. Lose this game and get a better draft pick. Please. I don't want to see the Cowboys go to the playoffs either. I'm going with Washington, but I have a terrible feeling that we win this game, though. So, yeah, Washington's going to go to the playoffs at a 7-9 record. You guys have to quit complaining because Carolina went to the playoffs at a 7-8-1 record, and the Seahawks went to the playoffs at a 7-9 record, and that's when Beastquake happened. So, what would happen if the Cardinals win this game? Any changes? No, so if the Cardinals win, then they're in the playoffs. If they lose, they're out. So, honestly, believe it or not, the Bears may go to the playoffs. I'm gonna go with the Cardinals on this one, actually. So now let's look at the draft order. So this would be it. We have Jacksonville, the Jets, Houston, Atlanta, Cincinnati, Philly, New York, Detroit, Carolina. I'll just let you read the rest of it. But I really want to see the best pick the Eagles can get is the 3rd, and the worst they can get is the 10th. I really want these 3 teams to win. I just want them to win. Because if they do, we get the 3rd pick, which would be awesome. But it's not going to be the case. I think we stay with the 6th, which is not bad, but I want a better chance of getting Jamar Chase. So now let's go to next week. So this is the playoff picture. Depending on my predictions. You would have, first of all, Green Bay and Kansas City would be on a bye week. And Ravens, Titans, Browns, Steelers, Bills and Colts, Washington and Tampa Bay. Oh my God. Seattle and Arizona. Then the Saints and Rams. Ooh. Matchup of 2 years ago. Look at that. So that'd be this is what I think the playoffs are going to look like. I really don't see the Bears going to the playoffs at all. So it'd be nice if they did, but I don't think they are. But if they go to the playoffs, start Nick Foles just for the hell of it. You're going to lose the game anyway. You're going to lose the game anyway. But start Nick Foles because, he has playoff experience. He does very well in the playoffs coming from an Eagle fan. Don't start Mitch Trubisky, please. Because, look, I'll tell you right now, if the Bears go to the playoffs and Nick Foles plays as the quarterback, which I highly doubt, I will root for the Bears for Nick Foles. I don't care. So I guess I could do these two, mine as well. So I think the Ravens may get redemption. Nah, I doubt it. Nah, Tennessee. I think the Browns are going to win this game because personally, with benching some of your players on the Steelers, I think they're going to be a little rusty, and I think the Browns may beat the Steelers. And I would have the Bills beating the Colts, Saints, Seahawks, Tampa Bay. Next we have, we're going to go with Bills, Chiefs. We're going to go with the Saints are going to win this game. Seattle's defense absolutely blows. So if Seattle had a more decent defense, then I'd say Seattle, but I just don't see that happening. A matchup we always wanted to see, even though one of the teams did get their asses handed to them. Playoff wise, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady. I don't care. It's a bitch playing in Lambeau Field in the playoffs. Going with the Packers. Then we're going to have the Chiefs, Packers. We have the State Farm Super Bowl, ladies and gentlemen. Might as well change the Pepsi halftime show to the State Farm for shits and gigs. Why not? And Kansas City's going to go with a two-peat. Back to back. So, that'd be my playoff bracket right there. And that's what I think would happen. But after whatever happens next week, after whatever happens this Sunday, and when I go live, you'll see me and Vicente's picks. So there you go. Thank you for watching. Have a happy New Year's, and me and Vicente will see you Thursday at 7:30. Peace out.